journey you guys have made.
Oh, sure.
Wisconsin. What part of Wisconsin are you from?
Menominee.
Menominee. Oh, that makes me think of the Muppets every time I hear that. Menominee.
Yes.
So we have Katie from Menominee, and then we have Stephanie from Elk River.
New Brighton.
No. What? I thought you guys were all so close to. I'm so
No,
sorry.
but we were going, I knew we were going to Cindy's, and so this was halfway or whatever on the way, so it worked out, yeah.
And then we have Cindy from Malacca. And you guys are 3 out of how many SquatchHERS?
8. We have 8.
8. So tell us a little bit about SquatchHERS. Well, and for people listening, it's spelled SquatchHERS. H-E-R-S.
Right. So we're Minnesota's Women-Led Cryptid Research Team. We focus on Bigfoot, but we look for all cryptids. We've been around since 2015, maybe. It's been about 4 years. Most of us are paranormal investigators, too. Kind of got the idea from Lauren Coleman, who everybody knows who he is. He's the world-leading cryptozoologist, and we saw him every year at Paracon, and one year he said, we were talking Bigfoot, and I've always been fascinated with Bigfoot, and he said, Steph, there's no women teams out there. And I'm like, what? And he said, there's a lot of women researchers, but not any teams, Right. And so I'm like, okay. So I got a bunch of my paranormal peeps together, and we started SquatchHERS. Yeah.
So you
Don't
said
want to do that.
cryptid, right?
Cryptids.
So is that
Loch Ness Monster.
cryptozoologist?
Yep. So cryptid just means animals that have not been proven yet.
Okay.
Like Bigfoot,
Things.
like the Loch Ness Monster.
Mothman.
We have
Mothman.
Mothman.
It's
We
one of
have
my favorites.
We have a Peppy. We have our own lake monster here in Minnesota, down in Lake Pepin.
Do we?
And there's one. Actually, there's one up in Leech Lake too, from what I understand.
Oh my god, I swim in that lake.
Yep. And
Not anymore.
no, and there's Dogman, and we hear
New
all
Jersey
kinds
Devil.
of and there's a lot of them right here in Minnesota that we hear, because we travel around a lot and we have our Squatch chats and people tell us their stories, and in these stories come all these other creatures that they've seen too. So
It's fascinating.
yeah, it is fascinating.
Is there a female dragon hunting group? Because we would like to join.
I don't know
Can we
about
find
that.
that? That would count, right?
Right? It's cryptids, yeah. Right?
We have
Absolutely.
I know. We're done here.
Thank
you. We're gonna start rubbing sticks. I don't know what we would even do. We'll talk about it.
So you guys focus mainly on Bigfoot.
We do.
Okay.
We do. So Bigfoot's our passion because we just want to see. I always say I just want to look him in the eyes once.
Right.
I think we're pretty close. We have a research area that it's not ours, of course, but
Right.
we call it our research area.
Right.
That we've heard him across the marsh, and we've found stick structures and crazy things, and I think we're pretty close. And actually, we're spending the night out there pretty soon. So,
Oh my god.
and it happens to be a very paranormally active place too. So it's going to be a double investigation, right? So we'll do paranormal and Bigfoot.
Okay.
We'll see what we find.
So, how did you convince, or not convince? I mean, it probably didn't take much, but 7 of your friends in the beginning to come together and start investing themselves in a group like this.
Well, it doesn't take much, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to find Bigfoot.
Everyone does, yes.
Yeah, and it's we had our original group. There were more members that we split off with them because they just weren't. They never wanted to go out in the woods,
Okay.
and so we just split.
You're not going to find him if you don't go out in the woods.
Right.
That's exactly right. And so they're gone. So, but out of the original bunch, there's still 4 or 5 of us, I don't remember, that started the group. So we're still at it, and we're still doing it, and we all have our different. Like Kimmy Ellis says, she wants to do a high five with
Right.
Bigfoot, or no, Kimmy's the one that wants to take the selfie.
Yes.
Heidi's the one that wants to do the high five. I just want to look him in the eyeballs.
Right.
Cindy, what do you want to do if you find him?
I do not want to pee myself and pass out.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. And Katie?
For me, I just want to be able to see him down in a field or something. I don't know if I want it right next to me.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
I want to
say.
be able to see, because a lot of people see it down somewhere or crossing a road.
Yeah.
Because we know he's out there. That's what I want. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to look him in the eye, like
Yeah, yours sounds very intimate and like very confrontational. Like
Close.
I want to look him in the eye.
Yeah, well,
I don't want him to pick me up and run away.
What I'm saying is have to pick you up and look him in the eye, though.
No. Yeah. Well, that's true. I guess I'd have to look up, but you know.
it's very like Harry and the Hendersons moment where he just like
Right.
scoops you up and hawks away with
And then
you.
I would go,
And she was never seen again.
right? You know, there are stories. There are native stories about women who have run into Bigfoot and he's taken them away, and then they are missing for a couple of years and turn up with hairy babies. You know, so
It's Travis.
yeah,
It's my husband.
I mean, yeah, right. So I don't know.
You never know.
He's so jealous he's not here, by the way, because he was like loves Bigfoot.
Yeah.
He thinks it's such a cool group.
Cool.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'll have
So
to
is
look up
there-
for those stories.
Is there more than one Bigfoot or just one?
Oh,
one
no.
dude.
No,
There's
Okay.
worldwide.
yeah.
Okay. That's what I thought. Because I was
China
kind of
has
trying to.
a preserve, an actual
Okay.
preserve. In Canada, it's illegal to shoot one. I mean,
So why is it?
America's always the last to accept
Yes.
anything and say, "Yep, that's true."
You still need permission legally from your husband to get your hair cut in Wisconsin, so
Really?
it's still a law. Don't cut your hair.
Do you have Chad's permission
Oh
to
gosh,
get your hair
never.
cut?
Call the police. Yeah, we're kind of behind the rest of the world.
We're
in
very
that way.
behind. We're very behind.
And I think we're
but-
the most cynical country too, because I mean, my thought process, because I believe everything, because I'm not all-knowing or I'm not intelligent enough to say that something doesn't exist because I can't prove that it doesn't exist.
Right.
Right.
That's the thing. You should work
Right.
backwards.
Yes.
But there's how old this Earth is and everything. It's like we've only been around this tiny amount of time. We don't know
That's
everything.
right. That's right.
So
And look
no.
at how many new species are found daily, right?
Daily.
Like
Look
in the
at-
oceans.
Yeah, the ocean. What we've explored, what 95%, or there's 95% of
hardly.
the ocean has been unexplored.
Exactly.
It's terrifying.
You know, and so the woods are kind of the same way, right?
Same
There's
way.
a lot of hidden creatures.
Yeah. Well, and anyone who lives up, and especially like the deep north, like Reamer and stuff like that. I mean, everyone who's from there has their own
Experience.
story. So everybody has their own experience.
Yes.
You can't just discredit it because
Yes.
it's people's experiences.
What do you
Yes.
think about it too? Way back when, there'll be petroglyphs and stuff carved into walls, you know, from when people lived off the land and before it was modernized like it is now. And back then, you were surviving. You didn't make shit up.
Right.
And say, let's make some shit up for the people in 2000, in the year 2019.
It's gonna blow their mind if we just put this UFO on this camera
Yeah,
or this
let's just
Bigfoot.
make this stuff up.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you
that was
didn't
their
make
record
this
keeping.
stuff up.
So yeah, it was. They tried to keep it factual.
I mean, you know when kids are making stuff up because they see stuff on the TV.
Yes.
You know,
have that.
and they draw it on the walls with their crayons or whatever.
Right. So you had experience then as paranormal researchers before the group was formed. So you kind of had your own knowledge base for that. How did you guys then become knowledgeable and gain experience to become this group? I mean, because you can't just like throw a pair of boots on and be like, now I am a researcher. But you have to have.
Well, so here's what happened. So Katie and I were original members of a paranormal group called Supernatural Investigators in Minnesota. We were founders of that. I have since left the group because I just don't have time for both, and Bigfoot is my passion now. So will I do paranormal? Yeah, for sure. You know, I consider myself a freelance paranormal investigator now. But we were up in International Falls way back, like 2011 or something, and we were on a case, and they talked about Bigfoot. And I'm like, what? I mean, I was dumb. I didn't know Bigfoot was in Minnesota, right? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, no, we see him once a year, maybe in the fall, and we have this shack out in the woods, and you're welcome to come. And we got the whole team to go.
Right, we did.
It was tough to do, and it took a while to do it, but we found lots of crazy things that we couldn't describe, or we couldn't explain.
We even found a footprint that we think was a footprint.
Yes.
And you put your hand in
Yes.
it and got in trouble.
Yes, yes.
The professionals said
Well,
that you
yeah,
don't touch it, you're not
you know.
supposed to contaminate it.
Totally contaminated it and blah, blah, blah.
So were they
whatever.
kind of your mentors then to teach you about?
Well, yeah, and so then when we started this, I mean, like Matt Moneymaker from Animal Planet's Finding Bigfoot once told me, Steph, you just need to go in the woods. I mean, it's not really a matter of what you know, you just need to be out there to find him, you know? And so we logged lots of hours in the woods, you know, we're out there quite often, and You can't do this though unless you love to be in the woods, and you
Yeah,
can't be afraid of the woods. You can't be afraid of slipping in the mud. You can't be afraid of going across the marshlands, and stuff. And you just have to be able to do it all. So, yeah.
Do you guys consider yourselves just strictly researchers then, or do you consider yourselves like a little bit of like conspiracy theorists? How do you feel about that phrase? Because I know people call you guys that a lot.
Really?
Well, people who are cynical will say, "Oh, they're conspiracy theorists." Yes, she's my cynical partner.
Watch as Jessica raises her hand.
Yes.
She's the one that needs convincing most of the time because, like, I believe skinwalkers exist. I believe everything exists. But how do you guys feel about that phrase when people say
Conspiracy theorist?
theorist? Yes.
I think that is for people who don't go outside their house.
Right?
They just think of things in their
Right.
head, and we go out there and do stuff. We don't have conspiracies about other groups and what they're doing or other ideas.
Right.
I'd rather go out and find out for myself than have a theory come into my head and say, "Yep, that's got to be it.
Right.
That's what they're doing." What does everybody else think?
Well, then just doing my research, I was just fascinated how much it came up that it was like conspiracy theorists believe in Bigfoot or conspiracy theorists this. It's like all over the place when really you guys are researching. You're really
Right.
We already
have a science
believe. There's believers and there's knowers. Knowers have seen it.
Right.
Oh, is that what you
Believers.
guys classify it?
Yeah.
So you're believers, and then once you see,
They're believers and a half. They've seen some prints.
Well, we've had some experiences. We haven't looked them in the eyes
Yes,
yet, but we
you've
have
had the
had
rock throwing.
some pretty wild things happen to us
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
They
That
are.
so
I'm excited to
explain.
hear.
And as paranormal investigators, we try to debunk things.
Yes,
Sorry,
we
thank
do.
you.
Yes.
Try to debunk everything in the woods. Oh, that can't be it because it's this,
Right.
And then if it truly can't be debunked, then it's like, oh,
Right.
well, how about this?
you guys poke holes. You
That's right.
find the flaws in your own stuff, and then
Exactly.
And we also, too, when we talk to people and they ask us about like footprints and stuff, we always say, we can't say 100% that he made this.
Right.
We're just thinking it probably was him.
Right.
Because of what we saw in the pictures we have, and that we never say we know that's what it was.
doesn't match
'Cause
anything else
even
that
a sound
exists.
or something, yeah, we just
Right.
say, we just are thinking that probably that's what happened or that was something that, Bigfoot did, but
you
we're
couldn't
not going to say.
You
for
couldn't
sure.
say any
'Cause we don't know.
footprint
We
belonged
didn't
to
see it-
anything.
we didn't
Right.
see him do
Unless
it.
you saw a foot going
Right.
right. Can't prove it.
We're pretty sure that a lot of them are, but
Well, they're ginormous.
But we don't.
I've
we
seen the
don't-
castings
Well,
of
they
them,
are.
and it's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
unbelievable.
And there's a lot of researchers who will say that, oh, Bigfoot did that for sure. Oh, Bigfoot's here. Can you feel him?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you see him? Yeah, no.
We were kind of talking a little bit, and I won't get like critical of other groups, but there's a lot of people that like to throw the kind of, like, I don't know, like blow things up a little
Yeah,
bit,
Right.
Yes.
puff up their chest, make
Yes.
things a little bit more elaborate. When, well, even the people that take people out into the woods and do these like paid tour things,
Yeah.
it's like, what are you selling to people? You can't guarantee anything, nor are you doing it properly, probably, or any of that.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
dragging people out on a walk.
Well, I think so, and I just think the liability issue is just, you bring people out in the woods, what if something happens to them?
Right.
Of course, if you're smart, you'll make them sign a liability form saying that you
Right.
are in no way liable for what happens to them, but I just, no. We've had people ask us if we would do that, and I'm just not comfortable with it yet. Maybe someday, but
Well, I think people are expecting then something. Like
Yeah.
you're just gonna
Right.
walk them straight up to
Yes.
something, and then they're gonna
Exactly.
be like, "Wow!" and they have the most incredible story to tell after that.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I can't guarantee. I'm sure you guys
No.
have had really long, tired days
Yes.
where you've
Yes.
gotten nothing
Right.
out of it,
Yeah.
and it's so.
exactly. But there's never a bad day in the woods. That's what I always say. It's always fabulous to be out there, no
What's your-
matter what we find.
What's your favorite area to go?
I love northern Minnesota.
Yeah.
One of our members lives up near Effie, Minnesota,
Oh,
which
okay.
we have found is just gorgeous up in that area.
Yes, it is.
It's really the edge of the wilderness up there, and there's a lot of stories, and we've been asked back again to a different tavern or whatever to have another Squatch chat up there. So there's a lot of, she's known as the Bigfoot gal up there, so which is cool because they'll tell their stories.
Right.
But I love the Northwoods. That's my absolute favorite.
Yeah, the Chippewa National Forest.
Yes.
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 Absolutely incredible.
Yes.
And we like when people ask, we say, wasn't the Chippewa National Forest, like, it's really big? We're like, we know it's really big. We're not
We're
going
not
to
gonna
tell you
tell you
where it is there, but we know
We're not gonna
it's a
narrow
good-
it
it's
down
a good
for
place to
you.
be. But they're always like, well, I'm like, who's going to say? It's
Well,
somewhere in there.
In Bigfoot days, my husband was really critical of those tour things. He's like, I've only been coming up, since we've been together 12 years, and he's like, I've only gotten to know a tiny little portion.
Right.
It's so massive
Yeah.
and you can get lost and it can be really, really dangerous.
Yep.
People have gone missing up there just
Yes.
from trekking through the woods.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's the people don't understand how
It is very big, and I
Huge
know
it
when
is.
we were up there in May, we were out like for I don't know all day. We were out there right away in the morning and didn't come back until
Yes.
after dark. And we had been in areas that we had never been in before, and we said, "Where are we? I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out." I think we even did a live from out there and said, "We don't know where we are."
Yeah, beautiful.
It's beautiful.
hopefully you wait long enough you'll hear a four-wheeler somewhere. And you're
That's
like,
right.
okay.
That's right. Well, we know a lot of people, so I mean, if we were truly lost, we could just give a call,
Yeah.
you know, and they would come find us. But
It is, that definitely to me seems like the most, I don't know, likely place. You know, that like everyone who lives up there has that feeling that
Yes.
it's just around.
So do you find like so what's the perfect environment? I mean, I know that you guys have found an area that you feel that he's at. So is it just like heavily wooded, or is it, you know, he comes out more in the rain, or he really likes, you know, he
Right.
makes his presence known in the winter? You know, have you found like a certain time frame or area that you feel is like the perfect environment for them to live?
I think they decide if you're going to see them.
Sure.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, depending on which part of the country you're in, too.
So I think they're
Yeah,
looking for
it's
more
different.
privacy. Like when they choose where they're going to dwell or where they're going to live.
Oh,
think?
hell, who knows?
What we think is that they tend to be around areas of water, right?
Water.
So rivers, marshes, lakes.
Okay.
Food.
That's that food, exactly. And places where there's lots of deer.
Deer, fish, berries.
You
So
know, I mean,
they're-
it is that, and that's where we find most of our stuff.
Yeah,
is
there's
places that are
And that makes
next
perfect
to
sense.
marshland.
A
And,
healthy
Near water.
supply of animals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Healthy animals.
So deep woods would be
You know.
perfect for that.
I'm beginning to think, on a side note, is all these deers we're hitting on the highway, those buggers are chasing them out, they're getting them hit, and then when the cars are clear, they're scooping them up.
yep, taking them back. Yep.
They should clear
I've been
their
hitting a
though.
lot
They
of
feel like
deer
someone's
lately.
like-
Why are the deer all hopping into the highway? We've got loads of acres for the deer to run. Hitting the damn things.
So when you guys, what do you guys look for in a day when you want to go out? Do you just go no matter what the conditions?
Yep.
Or, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Just a day when everybody's free.
Yep, and actually, you know, our favorite season to go is the fall and the winter. And I know that doesn't sound kosher, but I mean, because we've been out there when it's been below zero, and we've been out there when the snow has been up to our waist, and
Because bugs suck.
bugs suck. We really don't
The
go out.
heat sucks, especially if you're carrying
Heat
equipment.
and bug.
We really don't like to go out much in the summertime because we don't want to be blown away with those bugs. You know, let's be honest. You know, so fall is a really good time. You know, and a lot of times we'll just it's fun for the whole group to be together, and sometimes we have 4, 5, 6 of us together at the same time. But a lot of times it's just 1 or 2 or 3 of us, or never 1, excuse me, 2 or 3 of us.
Okay.
And a lot of times it's just, hey Cindy, what are you doing on Saturday? Let's go. Okay, let's go. You know, and so. That's how we work, and you know we've got girls up in northern Minnesota who live there too, so they go when they can, you know, and they bring other people too if they can't get a hold of each other.
Okay.
Never one.
Yeah,
And then you
so-
guys just share your information. I mean, it's kind of like a network.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, it's just our group, and we know many other researchers too. And you know, like remember when we were up there in May, and we had you know. One of the guys was calling me and saying, "You got to be really careful about these ticks because there's this new one out now, and make sure you take off all your clothes, you know, because you could die." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" And he repeated himself like 10 times. We had this, you know, 20-minute phone conversation with
Yeah,
him.
about tricks, yeah. I don't like them either, but.
So yeah, so we have a lot of, you know, I think girls are really a novelty in this research, and it's really a men's club, and
It is.
there really are quite a few women researchers, but they're just not heard of, right? You know, it's
Right.
mainly men, and so they want to protect us however they can. That's what I think. So they call us and say, "Well, be careful and let me know when you're back," and blah blah blah. And it's like, oh my god, you're so funny.
I think they just want to see you take your clothes off.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Make sure that I can help you.
Yes.
Well,
You find where you are, and we'll come help. Yeah.
I think it's funny that it's kind of a boys' club because just thinking as an animal who's maybe really intelligent or maybe possibly timid or something like that,
Right.
are you going to approach a burly man in a cutoff and like stomping through the woods and breathing heavy, or are you going to approach women who
Right.
are
Well, that's the idea.
pheromones, and then they're kind and they're soft-spoken, like things like that. I don't know.
Well, and it's thought that most of the Sasquatch that you see are probably young males, because they're not going to follow the rules and they're out there and they want to know what's going on. So, of course, they're going to be attracted to all the estrogen that women are hanging out with, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, there's a lot of reasons, and guys a lot of times go out with guns and, dogs, and they're
Testosterone.
Testosterone, and they're really hunting, right? They're not investigating, they're hunting,
It's like
and so...
Gaston,
You know,
wants to hang it on his wall.
So
I feel like that's,
I don't know.
and it's really sad, but I do feel like that's the intentions of a lot of these, is that if they saw it, I think they want to bag it and tag
Yes.
it.
Right.
They want that glory. There's glory in it instead of
Yes.
protecting a species or wanting to learn about it. It's
Exactly.
it's all
I
about.
don't know if there's any glory in finding out what if there's human in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you're a murderer if there is proven to be any kind of human being.
right,
You're a
because that
murderer
is,
either way.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, you're a murderer either way.
Yeah.
And
If,
Right.
I'm going to step back real quick because you said winter. Do you guys think that Bigfoot hibernates?
No.
No.
No. Okay. I always wondered that if that was
Our best prints have been in the winter.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I gotcha.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That popped in my head and I didn't ask. Time of day, all day. You guys sound like you go and go and go.
We do, and our biggest experience happened in the middle of the night, but I don't think it really matters if it's night or day, to be honest.
Yeah.
You
a
don't
lot of your
think they're
images-
more active at night or anything like that?
I think your senses are heightened at night.
Yeah, so you
there's-
probably notice more at night because you're, what's going on? I can't see. You know
Lots
what I
of
mean?
stories people have talked about early mornings when
Too.
they've seen
Yeah,
things. So
that's the other thing.
Could be a
You just
hunting
don't know.
time for them or something.
Maybe.
They wake up.
Sure.
Because I wondered, hunting at night, you can trick yourself. Your mind can trick yourself to hear things. If you hear in those woods too, they're really noisy woods. Branches fall, trees fall, everything. You could really quickly convince yourself that
Yes.
something has. So it could cloud your judgment. Where I can see daytime, you're seeing everything
Yes.
much clearer.
Yes.
'Cause all of your guys' photos of the structures and stuff are
Yeah. They're cool, aren't they?
They are cool.
And what's interesting is our stick structure quadrant has changed a lot
Yes,
in the
it
last
has.
year. So I don't know what's going on up there, but it's amazing.
What equipment do you guys take out with you? You don't protect yourself with a gun then? You don't ever feel that? Do you have bear mace or something?
No. Actually,
That's what I would need something for the bears. That's what I
Andy
think.
has a really sharp knife.
She has a
that
really
brings.
long knife
I
that
could
she
see
takes
you
with
being the
us.
one with the knife. I told you she like
the Rambo.
She's the Rambo. She just hucks it out of her
It's
boot.
nice
and,
to
like-
have a gun along because, as all hunters know, 3 consecutive shots with the gun means you need help.
help.
So that would be, and that can be heard for miles.
Right.
So that's what's nice about having a gun.
Yeah, because even when I go out,
But-
ranger riding through those woods up there when we're at the
You
cabin,
take something?
I have something just because I have this like irrational fear of like just I don't know something jumping in and eating me. I'm like, but I'll get a gun and I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Hold up for a second while I find it.
Yeah.
What other equipment do you take with then? You do recording or?
A hiking stick. And
Yeah, well, we
walking
have
stick,
cameras
recorders.
and video cameras in there. The what's the thing with that you can hear?
Oh yeah,
far
we
away?
have the ear, the
Parabolic.
parabolic ear. Yeah.
What is that?
And
Where you
it's
can hear really far away. It's really
it's
cool.
like a dish, and then you put a headset on, and you can listen.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They're really cool. And then we have our bat for knocking on the trees to get knocks back.
So okay, so how does that? Is there is it like a? or
Yeah. You just knock, and we've had knocks back, and
Secret.
I didn't know if it was like a code. Yeah, like.
So wait, so I don't know anything. So what do
I'm
you
sorry.
knock for?
well, because they knock back if they're in the area. Sometimes they'll knock back.
Okay.
And then people say, well, how do you know if it wasn't another person? Well, usually when we're doing this, we're out in these areas that are so remote, there is no people
Where it's
there.
more
There are no people
Sure.
there.
Okay.
So if we get a knock back, we're pretty certain it's not a human. I don't know what
Is
it could be.
knocking a form of communication for them?
Yes.
Then. Okay.
Yes,
Maybe.
it's thought
Like,
that they.
between-
That's
sort
what
of
we
more-
believe.
It's a
anyway.
fear.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what the.
Okay. So maybe if they were
How-
looking for each other, they would knock, and then they could tell how far someone was. away or
Exactly.
something like that. Okay.
Exactly.
Do they so they knock? What else do they make like a certain sound or is it?
Well, you've heard the Bigfoot yells. We're not going to do that here, but.
You don't have a sample for us?
Oh, good God. We do the Bigfoot calls occasionally. We don't do it always, but we do it. And we hear them, when we heard it last fall, it sounded almost like a gorilla. So it wasn't anything like the sound that we make when we're out there.
Not something that would be up in the woods of Minnesota.
No, it sounded literally like a gorilla. It was kind of like our sound. Across the marsh. Yeah, that's what it sounded like to us. And what's interesting is then there's some friends of ours, Bill and Amy Lancaster of Bill Coke Productions, have been producing these Bigfoot documentaries. Have you watched them in your research?
I'm just starting because we're going to be recording it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, so Cultured Bigfoot is the first one, and actually I'm in Cultured Bigfoot because that's where I met them at CryptidCon.
You have to watch
that was with the old team, but they interviewed us and we became really good friends. But the last one that they made was Paranormal Bigfoot, and they were talking with researchers who had actual audio of what they felt was Bigfoot, and we were going to interview them for our radio show. And so Heidi and I happened to be watching this at the same time. They sent us the movie ahead of time. And we both texted each other, "Oh my God, did you get to that part with the audio? Because it sounds just like what we heard across the marsh, up in our research area." And I'm like, "It did. Oh my God, we were so excited." But so I don't know. I think we're really close up there,
Exciting. Yeah, because I bet they would have different dialects or things too.
I would believe they did.
Yeah.
There's certain things that they're trying to communicate.
Right. If they have a certain emotion, or if there's, listen to a chimpanzee or something when they're panicking. Their voice gets really high and gets really loud. But I'll play for you the Bigfoot holler.
Yeah.
It will crack you up the first time you hear it because it is it's different. You don't expect that. You expect some big roar or I don't know, like something, but it's
like
it's very different.
It's deep and it goes for a long time where it has some lungs behind it that no other creature, existing animal that we know of would have.
Right. What other? So what are you looking for then? You do your knocking. You're looking for footprints. What other things are you looking for?
And the stick structures, twisted branches, broken branches up high. Just anything out of the ordinary, that humans wouldn't do. And a lot of people say, well, why do you think this is Bigfoot? Well, why would a human come way out here to make this structure?
Climb up 8 feet and try
exactly.
And they couldn't twist a branch anyway.
No, and why would they do this? It doesn't provide shelter. It doesn't provide cover. It doesn't. It's just there. So
that was my question. So did you see the pictures on their website?
Yeah, I was going to ask too. So what do they make those for? What's the purpose of those?
What's the thought?
Well, we don't
You
really
haven't
know.
asked him? You didn't meet him?
We haven't met him.
Bear with Bigfoot and get
Yeah,
some answers.
I actually kind of think it's kind of directionary for them. And I think our quadrant, our Bigfoot stick structure quadrant, was maybe signifying a portal. I believe that Bigfoot is from another dimension. Yes. And I think because a lot of times when we find these structures, there's also big energy portals there.
Yeah, Cindy was talking about that. You guys end up getting a lot of paranormal.
Yep, and the Native Americans believe that he's multidimensional as well. And we've been schooled by many Native Americans, and we know about Gitche Sadi is really important to the Ojibwa, and all the Indian tribes of America. But the Ojibwa, he's one of the 7 teachings of their clan. So
I wondered that too because culturally, they're kind of protective of that too.
Yes.
Have you ever had any kind of confrontation of? We did. It's not the same thing, but we did skinwalkers, and we learned a lot about one specific tribe where you're not allowed to speak about it if you're not in a part of that tribe.
They're afraid of them.
Well, and it's culturally it's theirs.
Yeah.
They don't even want 2 white girls on a podcast talking about it, which I felt bad. I was like, sorry, but because it's theirs, it's part of their heritage. It's part of their their storytelling. So, is there like Native American research teams that you guys have met?
There's a lot of Native. In fact, one of our good friends up there is a Native. He's one of the elders up in the tribe, and he does a lot of research actually up there, and he's taught us much. He actually came out with us last May and brought us to one of his favorite spots. And he's and so they what's interesting is they've really kind of embraced our girls. They've kind of embraced us and said, tell us where we can find stuff, and they give us clues and they tell us their stories, and it's fun to listen to the elders because they always have the same story about Bigfoot told in a different way, and so it's really fun to hear the different variations of the story, but it's always the same, and they're not afraid of him. I am really not afraid of him either. I'm more afraid of humans.
I think
maybe
you love
than
him.
Right.
And there's girls too, right? We always say we're looking for the big girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Patty, the Patterson film, it's like she's a girl.
Yep, she's a girl.
So
We also talked a little bit about, as far as fearing him, we don't think, we think he's intelligent.
yeah.
And we think the only reason why people get hurt or something by it because they're trying to hurt him.
Yes.
Or a family
Yes.
member of him, one of
Yes.
theirs.
Self-defense.
Because we don't feel that way. We don't
No.
think that it's something that's dangerous. We think
No.
he's very intelligent and hoping that he'll come see us sometime.
Yeah.
But that's how I think that's how we feel.
Yeah.
More about, people are like, are you scared? We're like, well,
Not
we're
really.
not. We're more scared of other things out in the
Yeah.
woods. We're scared
Yeah.
of people. People can be really,
Yeah.
People scare the hell out
yes,
of
they
me.
can be
too.
really mean.
Me too.
Yep.
So,
Or a mama bear trying to protect
Yes,
her baby.
yes.
Oh, the
Yeah.
bears.
Definitely
It's the
terrified of
bears.
that.
Yeah.
I'm good with bears.
And there's so many
stuff,
up there.
but
Oh my
Not,
God.
not cubs.
Yeah.
If you see a cub, just
Run.
away from
Get
a cub.
away.
Always
I know
run
they're
from a
cute,
cub.
but don't
Yeah.
go.
Well, the cats up there too are crazy.
Yeah,
the amount
there's a
of
lot.
big cats up there.
And they've been finding black panthers actually in Wisconsin now,
really?
which they said they were
Crazy.
extinct.
I
but-
love that movie though. It was he is
so
Wakanda for life. What?
No.
It's a joke. Deer hunting. I mean, my cousins all have videos. They go underneath. They'll start circling at the bottom of the tree, and they're like,
Yep.
"Well, I'm here all day today, so
yeah,
can't,
because they're there.
can't get down now."
Yeah.
So the stick structures, they're pretty similar throughout other people's findings. They're the same size. They're kind of the same
Different
shape,
sizes.
things like that. Well, but in general, they're not
Yeah.
like you won't find one that's ridiculously huge or one that's like a fairy house. Like
Yeah.
they're they
Right.
seem to really serve a purpose. You don't think they serve any other purpose besides. So you really.
Don't know.
Well, we don't know.
I mean, this is all hypothetical.
Exactly. But
and-
we kind of think maybe it's a marker for them to know
So
that
they
this is
would
where
find,
Yeah.
so their family would know where to find them, or
other Bigfoots.
do they mark trees then too? Do they do any scraping or anything like that?
We haven't seen anything like
Because
that.
up there, there's a lot of bear scrapes and stuff. So you haven't seen anything like that. Okay.
No.
Where do you think that they sleep?
Wherever the hell they want.
Yeah.
Are they up high? Are they down low?
Don't know.
Well, they do go up in trees.
Yeah.
I mean, we always look up in trees. So I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
Be interesting to find. We did find that nest. That one, what we thought was a nest. That
Right.
one time way up in the other part of the state. But yeah, so we have found things that are different.
Yeah.
Did a Bigfoot sleep there? I don't know. Maybe.
Right.
It was different. It was unusual.
Do you guys, do you kind of find a spot and like plop down and just kind of hope that he
Well,
comes out?
Sometimes.
We do sometimes. That's what we're going to do overnight. Because once we're there because we can't get across the marshlands at night.
Right.
So
Okay.
we're going to be kind of stuck there.
What about so you guys, I mean, we had this point on here to talk about safety, but you guys aren't afraid at all.
No,
No. That's, man.
I'm really not afraid.
So you're not allowed to join.
I can't join. I'm not afraid of him. I'm afraid of many other things. But I could see how it would be really hard for people to dedicate themselves that
Yeah.
far out there.
But when you're out there and you're with a group, say we go out there, it's usually, unless we're close by, there might be one or two of us, but when we go north there's usually more.
Right.
And you encounter something, you got a group versus one thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you can take them. People forget and are in this, little box of safety in their homes and stuff. They forget that it's okay to defend yourself against one bad thing or bad person. You can, you all can team up together and surround the thing or drive it off or whatever.
Right. Do you think that he has more human qualities than animal? Or
I like to think so. I like to think there's,
a brain and I don't know if it's a brain, but like
I think
human
he's much more
emotions
intelligent than
and-
us.
yeah,
you think
it's
so?
been.
To call him human would be to insult him.
That's
Yeah,
probably true.
I think he's a lot bit smarter than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why you guys think he's so hard to catch, is because he's
Right.
just this
Highly
intelligent
intelligent.
being. Okay.
And
Yeah.
they have they communicate. They have a language of their own.
Yeah.
An actual language.
Yeah.
We do
Which
have
has been
we don't have a
proven.
recording, but we have the is it Don? The recording of the wolves and
Yes.
and
Well, it's coyotes.
Coyotes.
So we always feel like when we hear coyotes, that Bigfoot's not far behind. If you're in,
because
Oh, really?
he doesn't know, but he thinks that maybe they communicate with
and they hunt together.
because he has two different. He has the coyotes and he has a different sound that he recorded, and he goes, "That's not a coyote or anything that I know of," and it sounded like a
Yes.
that people talk
So
about.
so it sounded like he was using a dialect that maybe coyotes or wolves would understand.
That's what he says, and we listened to it, and it was interesting.
Yeah,
you could
it's
tell the difference. We're like,
fascinating.
"That's the coyote. That's not." You
Right.
know, so we don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
it was interesting to listen to.
So
I
whenever
mean-
we hear coyotes when we're out there, we're like, oh, Bigfoot's not
Now I'm
down
gonna
here.
think of that every single time.
Yeah.
And they're really active out there too. What do you guys think of the video footage, the famous?
The Patterson film?
Yeah,
100% real.
Yeah.
I agree.
You
I
don't
mean,
get
it's from
to.
1968 or whatever, you know, I mean,
They've tried to debunk it. It
And they
isn't
can't do it.
debunkable.
No, it's
These
not.
guys are out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
Right.
You know, their horses reared up. They went nuts. They took off. They didn't. What wasn't told in there was another one besides her,
Oh, really?
and she was leading them away from the younger or the other one. And yeah, I mean, they did plenty of interviews where they asked all the guys that did all the, make creatures and stuff in Hollywood. They said,
Yeah.
well, yeah, we're good, but we're not that good.
Well, there's a certain thing. The gait is unbelievable. Even if you wore stilts or anything, to be able to get your legs to take that stride is not possible. And also the length of the arms and how wide that they swing.
yeah.
I mean, it's not. You would have to be an
Yeah.
incredible contortionist who can also walk on stilts and wear a big furry
Yes.
outfit while walking uphill in the woods. Like,
Yes.
and it's everyone's like, is Bigfoot just blurry? Why is every video of Bigfoot blurry? Maybe he's just blurry. But I mean, you can see those moments. It's not something that was premeditated or creative, because otherwise the production value would be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be this crystal clear.
Well, and we always say
video.
we'd love to get a good picture, but we probably never will. I mean, if we ever are fortunate enough to see Bigfoot, I bet you we won't get anything.
Oh, forget
It'll
we
just
even
be
have a phone camera.
Exactly, it'll just be
Fumble, drop it on the ground, drop it in the marsh.
Exactly.
They go.
You'll have your thumb over it.
Yeah, right?
So excited.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not afraid out in the woods. I'm not afraid of a Sasquatch, but I think to see one would just shake me to my core.
Yes.
Well,
Because it's just
confirmation of
like-
everything.
And the massiveness, just the size, the muscle, and the power behind it would just.
Your adrenaline would go.
It would just, probably take me right out. But
Yeah, someone's
what a
gonna
way to go.
faint. Someone's gonna run into his arms.
I'm going down.
You're gonna have the
I'm
knife
going to-
like.
No, I'm turning to jelly. I'm hitting the ground. I'm turning right to jelly.
What? So you guys take photos. So photography is a big part of keeping your evidence and your research and stuff. Do you
Right.
guys have any other method? Do you do castings of footprints? Or
Sure, if
anything
we
like
find a casting or a foot that's castable, but the footprints that we found, our best prints were in the snow.
Yeah, and we didn't know that we could
Can't
do
really
it.
cast in the snow. Other ones have been too shallow, so they haven't been like in good mud where you could actually get a print.
Right.
So
You could just make a perfect print. That would be
right
helpful.
in mud, so that we could do
In
that.
those cases, we tried to put something next to it and take a picture, like
Yeah.
something so you can see how big they are.
Yeah.
On average, how big are the prints that you find?
Well,
24 to 27 was the one.
yeah.
We forgot to do
There's
with. We
pictures.
just did, like,
Yeah, there's pictures on our website of my Ugg boot next to the print, and
that
it's
too. That
We always want to carry a $1 bill with us because a $1 bill standard measurement.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can
so you
figure
can
that
see.
out.
And the gate on that one was like 3 to 4 feet in between each print, right?
And when stuff falls in the bog, the $1 bill won't get read.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
up to her hiney in water.
I've seen some research where people can, scientists can take an idea for how much he weighs too by how deep the
prints
imprint
are.
can go. So, I mean, what's the thought? He's a couple 100 pounds.
Well,
He has
he's
to be.
9 feet tall. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. Or a big girl.
Well, and
They
most
are big
people
girl.
that have told us when they've seen them, they've it'll be above a sign or something, like a stop sign, and and I know that sign is this tall, so I know
Right.
that it was 8, 9,
Right.
10 feet or whatever they are, but so they're tall.
Yeah. And they move really fast. Remember the
Yes.
last witness that we talked to up north said that the creature was running as fast as your car.
Holy cow.
Oh, that's a skinwalker. We've heard that.
Maybe it was. We don't know because we didn't see it.
It could be a skinwalker that looks like Bigfoot.
There you go.
Sorry, I have a very irrational fear of skinwalkers. Do you guys have an idea or a theory of your own of the age of Bigfoot?
What do you mean?
Well, how long can they live or anything like that?
How long they live.
Just a theory. I know you don't know, but a theory. Because you talked about adolescent males and things like that. I just,
Well, we have talked to people who have seen whole families, mom, dad, kids.
oh,
Yeah, right? Wouldn't that be fun to see?
It would be very fun to see.
But we don't know. See, my theory is that they're multidimensional, so this is why we never find bodies.
can you go into that a little bit? I find that very interesting.
Well, the thing is, though, we never really find bear bodies either, right? They there are just certain species that we never really find their
I've never
remains.
thought about that.
Right? You never hear about somebody
Where are all
coming
the bear
across a
bodies?
bear skeleton, it just...
There's no cougar bodies.
There's no, none of the
Nature
higher
takes-
species, and that's like whales, for example. One of my favorite things is the orca whales out on the Pacific Northwest, and my daughter and I go out every year to see them. They never find whale carcasses, and yet, but a researcher actually saw a couple of the big males shoving something into a crevice under the water, and it's thought that it was a baby that passed away, and so they
Have their own way of.
taking care of the bodies, their families.
Nature takes care of itself.
Yeah.
The bugs eat it away.
Yeah.
Other predators and eat it away. It decomposes.
And they probably go somewhere and hide when they die, right?
Maybe.
Do you think that it's a parallel, like your belief, is a parallel universe where maybe he is known to people in another parallel universe? Like maybe he's just
Then you
another
gotta
creature?
believe in other people and other universes.
right.
I
and
do.
it's
I fully
very-
do.
Yeah.
So that
Anything's possible.
I'm already there.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah.
She's gonna need to go home and process.
Well,
it.
and the other thing is the lights. There's always lights that are seen when Bigfoot's around, and
Like orbs
we've
or-
experienced these too. I mean, we have them on film. When we had our big experience, we kept seeing all these lights in the skies, and we didn't know what that was. And so some people think that's how Bigfoot travels. He's able to put all of his energy into this light and then go.
I love it. I'm
Yeah.
on board.
But we don't know because we've never seen
Right.
it happen, right?
Right.
These are all theories.
Along
wild
with
theories.
that too, the footprints that we found in the winter. The interesting thing was they just ended.
Stopped.
So where did he go?
Right.
There were not even several of us went.
And there's no tree
farther,
to go
several
up. It's just in the
It
middle.
was-
It was
a
like
flat area.
actually it was kind of like an open space, right? So we could see the sky from
And
there.
you saw where they started and they just ended in one spot and we're like, well then there's nothing over there. Where did it go? We don't know, but maybe
There's-
that's why we think maybe it's interdimensional because it was
There's
brought to where
quite a
it's
few.
supposed to go.
Quite a few stories around the world that
About that it
finding
just
prints and
ends.
following them and then poof,
It's gone.
gone.
Yeah.
And they've taken pictures. It's
Yeah.
like where are they? You can tell
Right.
nobody took snow and
Yeah.
it covered
Right, you'd
it.
be
You
able
would
to
have
see that.
been
Or if there
able
was
to
a
see
fresh
it.
fall, it would have
I
covered.
mean, it's been
that
documented by police officers and people that other people would consider reliable sources. I don't care if you're a police officer or not. You could be an asshole and an idiot and not be believable. I mean, and, Joe
Right.
Schmo from down the
Exactly.
block could have saw it, and he's even more credible than a police officer.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you saw something like that, I don't think it matters
makes
who it
anyone
is. You should
wonder.
take a look. And
I find that interesting though because there's we've not even with Bigfoot. There's a lot of people who go missing. There's airplanes that go missing. There's
That's a
things
whole
who,
other ballgame.
It is, believe me.
Stay
I
a
go
while.
into deep holes with this stuff, but there is a thought that people can do time shifts or enter into a parallel universe. I mean, there's a whole theory that we entered into a black hole in 2012. Do you guys heard about that?
No.
Oh, you love that one.
But yeah.
I find and it's the first time I've ever heard that theory though, and I find that interesting because it does make sense.
a spot. What? I can't remember what state it's in, but they did a research where, like, from me to you away, which is 5-6 feet,
Yep.
since people can't see us.
Thank you. They're standing chest to chest.
They've scientifically proved that they're aging faster on at 5 feet over here versus
Oh, Okay.
you know, like where I would be standing. There's a time shift in this area of energy.
And where was that at? I'm sorry.
I can't freaking remember.
I'll find
Says
it.
you can't remember.
Well, I sure don't want to go in that place, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll stand on the correct side.
Yeah,
Somewhere where,
maybe we're getting younger.
people went missing. Somebody went missing.
Okay.
And there was a time change in this area, and there's a big energy source.
Wow.
And you guys, what kind of energy do you pick up in those areas? What, as a paranormal investigator?
I'm pointing at stuff
Is it
because
is it a feeling?
she gets a look on her face, and she slows down the car and says, "You know what?" I'm like, "Oh, she's got a feeling. We gotta go back and check this out." And I don't know what it is, but she just like, this.
Well, I'm an
electrical.
intuitive sensitive, so I can feel energy fields and stuff. But for example, when we were up, you know, we keep talking about the last time a bunch of us were together was in May up north, and we found these arches. And you know, arches can be many things. They can be created just from the snow.
Yeah.
Right.
But in this particular place, there was like 20 of them.
Yeah. And they were all going the same direction,
Yes.
which is very
There's 20
odd.
arches all going the same direction.
They were all going, and there were
Yeah.
several that were together, but they were all like, looks like they were all facing the same direction as
Yeah.
far as being arched all the way to the ground.
Right, and so we thought, well, we have to get down there, and it was really wet because it was in spring. But we got down there, and underneath there were like 3 of them that were kind of crossed, and underneath there, my heart just started racing. I mean, the energy was crazy,
Yeah.
and I thought I was going to have a heart attack. No, I knew I wasn't gonna. But I mean, that's how I can imagine it feels, right? My heart was just pounding against my chest, and then you came over.
I came over and I instantly, as soon as I got close to it, I felt like I couldn't breathe, but I knew I was breathing, but I had this something pressure that I'm like, and I kept like forcing myself to breathe harder, but I'm like, I'm breathing fine. And it wasn't until you walked a certain way.
Yeah, you only had to
it
be a
was
couple
gone.
feet away and it was gone. And then
We had
Cindy
several-
came and she
several
had
people
a
had the same-
reaction too, but hers was more in the head. She said she
had
felt
some
like she had
pains
a
in her
bad
head.
headache.
Yeah, and then as soon as she walked away, it just went away.
So did you like approach and then back up? Like, was it just like a certain period of time where that, or did you kind of play with
We
it a
went
little
back
bit?
and forth and it was the same way. And then so we brought Don Sherman too there, and Andrea, who's with him, she felt it right away too. We brought her under there and she was the same as me. She said,
Yes.
"Oh my God, it's like," you know, and Don didn't feel anything,
Yeah.
which was interesting. Yeah, we need to definitely go back up there because I don't know what that was, but that was crazy energy. And then we found another new stick structure up in our research area that has that same kind of feeling. And I know the same thing. I was like, "Oh my God, my heart's beating really fast. There's something here. It's another energy portal." And then you said the same thing. You had kind of the same
Right.
experience.
So maybe they're marking where that
Yeah,
energy is and stuff
Yeah.
so that they know.
I don't know, but it's very
It would
interesting.
explain a lot. That's how they're so stealthy.
Yes.
Just vanish.
Vanish. That's why nobody gets pictures. So tell them how you felt under those arches. We were talking about the arches.
That was weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
That was like my first paranormal moment that I've had since I was a little kid. And how was I feeling? That was just.
I said you had the
Yeah, I don't get headaches.
Yeah,
I do not get headaches, and my head started to hurt.
That's what it was, yeah.
And I never get a headache.
Yeah.
Because when I do, I'm a real baby about it. Even if it's just a little tiny one, that's how little few headaches I get. And my head started hurting, and I'm like, this is weird. This is a coincidence. You know, this is bullshit. So I turned around and walked out of the area, and the further away I got, the less the headache went. I'm like, well, that's bullshit. That's a coincidence, you know. So I walked back in, and sure enough, like, my head's gonna explode. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And I didn't want to go back in. It's like, no, that's weird. No, not going back there.
Go
No.
back to the
Look
car.
Look at the goosebumps.
See? Yeah.
Oh my
Just
God,
thinking about it.
Well, and you felt that same way in our research area a few weeks
That
ago
thing,
too. That was your eyeballs.
my eyeballs
That was
were
your
gonna
eyeballs.
pop out.
Yeah.
It was like pressure behind my eyeballs, and it was like they were gonna be one of those cartoon things, and they go doing, and your eyeballs fall onto the forest floor and roll away and are carried away by a squirrel or something. But it was so
Squirrel's just laying in
weird.
wait, like.
Yeah, Steph goes,
I
This
know
is where
it's
the
gonna
human's
pop out.
eyeballs come out.
she goes,
Energy field.
we're out there, and Steph goes, my heart's racing, and I'm like, where? And she goes, over here, and I walk. I squirrel and go to the other different direction, and I'm like, my eyeballs are gonna fall out. And she goes, no, it's over here. I go, well, my eyeballs are coming out over here. So she walks over, and her heart starts racing over there too, and it's like, oh my God, it was just like pressure, like there was somebody in there pushing on the back of my eyeballs, and I didn't like that either. And I got away.
It's like
and I
Enjoy that.
I didn't like it. It's like that's really another weird thing. I have not experienced that before, but I was like, hold them in.
Do you have any like equipment that picks up energy or voices or things
we
like
bring our
that?
paranormal equipment.
Okay.
So we have a K2 meter with us usually.
That's what it's called.
Maybe a millimeter.
Okay.
But I think it's more about what we feel.
Yeah.
And I wish we would have had one out there that day with us. And we should have brought one when we were out there, because then you and I were out there like the next week or something.
Yep.
Or a week out, I don't know when we were out there. But in that same area, though, I will say that last spring we were out there with Marilyn and Heidi, and
Yes.
we were all out there, and we did see spirits. There was like a whole bunch of them. There was like a whole group of them standing there looking at us. So there's a lot of things going on right there. It's going to be really fun to spend the night.
What if it's people that are like,
Oh, that's where you're spending up.
you're sleeping at night with the spirits?
We've had Native American stuff is there.
There's a lot of Native American
Okay.
energy up there. Yeah.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of Native American energy everywhere, but for some reason
But
they're
for some
protecting
reason they're.
Gitchy-Sabi up there, I think. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I think they know
So
that
many
we're not
questions.
threatened because what's his name?
They
He's had two visions, and one was it was
they
upset.
like us, but they're upset about something that's happening there, and I'm not really sure what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do offerings.
We do offerings. Yeah.
We do tobacco
Yeah, they're not
offerings
upset
and
with
stuff.
us, but
That's so cool.
So what is your when you want to tell someone like your best Bigfoot Sasquatch story? What do you tell them? What's your your favorite thing? I mean, is it the eyeballs?
I like the rock throwing.
yeah.
Ooh, I want to hear about that.
Yeah,
Is he mad at
when
you?
we first
We don't know.
So the very first one that we ever went on, really, the big one, up
This
in
was
the
very
Chippewa
late-
Forest,
late
by
at
the
night.
way. Yeah,
I
it was
wasn't
in
there.
the middle of the night. Yeah.
I just love the story because I want it to.
And there were how many of us? There were a lot of us, 5, 6 of us,
Yeah,
I guess.
at least, yeah.
And we were kind of all in different spots. And then somebody said, "Oh my God, I see red eyes," and we're like, "What?" And then we all came back, to this area by the car. And then rocks started being thrown over the treetops at us. So it wasn't like a rock being thrown at us. It was like being looped over these
And they
ginormous
kind of
trees.
just rolled towards us, but
And they landed at our feet, And it's thought that, for me, it was almost like they were saying, "We're here, find us." There's, it was playful. It was kind of playful. And so then we knocked a few times, and we heard knocks back. And then all of a sudden, it felt like we were surrounded. I was a little scared. And we instinctively, all of us, were shoulder to shoulder with our backs facing each other, so we were all outward. I was pretty scared. I was pretty freaked out. And I said, "Oh, time to go."
I thought we did a
We did an
blessing
offering there
or
too, because we
something, yeah.
heard it. We heard all this rustling in the woods, and we had infrared cameras. We had thermal cameras, I believe, that time too, and nothing was showing up. So is Bigfoot interdimensional? Well, he wouldn't show up on a thermal if he wasn't.
Yeah, I wonder,
if
have
he
you ever
was.
picked up heat sources like in
Right.
the fall and
So
stuff, just random?
yeah, and we heard this trudging in the woods really close to
on
us,
both
and
sides of
yeah,
us.
and you would think so if it was a deer, if it was a bear, if
You
it was
would
a
see it in the
moose,
camera.
a cat, it would have showed up, and nothing showed up there, And then we did a tobacco. We dropped tobacco,
And it
then
went
it
away?
was yeah, then it was,
It's drop tobacco.
yeah, offered tobacco.
Oh, you offer.
Yeah,
They smoke?
no, it's just an offering.
like a
We offer it.
I was like,
It's a Native
do you
American.
leave them like a pack of Camel Lights or something?
Here, have a smoke.
And a bit.
and I'll
Disposable funds for that.
He comes out, he's like, thanks, I really.
Oh man,
It's been a long day. So that's interesting. So you guys kind of believe that would be the younger people, the younger
Yeah.
ones, being risky and
Yes.
playful and curious.
Yes.
So it's like a game.
I'm glad none of us were carried away that night. Actually, and it was into the night. I mean, it was late. It was like
very
1 or 2 in the morning, and there was nobody out there in that remote part of the woods. So
There is something about those woods up there though, feeling that presence, and we've even been driving slowly on the Ranger and kind of punch it a little bit because you just get this sense that something big is around you, you know, and it's
something different.
unsettling.
And you say it best, Cindy, because you're in the woods.
What do I say?
Remember you said it once, somebody else was interviewing us, and you talked about how sometimes you're in the woods and everything is, you know, whatever, and then all of a sudden it changes.
Oh yeah, just the whole feel of the woods changes. The energy in the woods changes completely. The birds are chirping, and everything is, you know, Walt Disney and you know, Snow White and the birds and little Bambis and shit running around, and then all of a sudden it's just boom.
Yeah.
It's like you're somewhere else. It's like, where did I just go? I was just here a minute ago, and everything has changed, and it's very heavy.
because they all know what's going on. It gets quiet.
Yeah.
There's something about it out there. You definitely. I mean, human intuition is really powerful when you really think about
Yes.
it. But you can.
There's a lot of power out there. A lot of power, a lot of force, a lot of energy. Stuff you don't notice in the city because it's so busy.
Yes.
Nobody stops to be still anymore and just be.
Take it in.
Yeah.
I need to ask you specifically because you don't want to get close, so you're not fearful either. Then I'm just fascinated
I'm
by
not.
not being afraid.
I'm not fearful of it.
Okay. And you guys have never heard stories from, you know, other researchers that have seen anything dangerous or felt anything dangerous?
Down south.
Down south.
The ones down south, Kentucky and that, they're a little more, the stories are a little,
Bayou squatches.
a little more aggressive because there's a lot more people trying to shoot them.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And they're
So I could-
different areas of the country. They're a little different sizes and beefiness, and they're a little, I guess, smaller down there in the swamplands and mobile as far as agile, I should say.
There's
And they're
a
a
threat.
little more
You would adapt
aggressive.
to that, to that culture.
Well, and they call Sasquatches different in every part of the country.
Yeah, they're boogers.
Yeah,
That's
wood
what
boogers.
They
Boogeyman.
call them
Yeah.
wood boogers?
Yeah, down in the
That's the fucking
Kentucky.
dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Down in the
my whole life.
Kentucky area, down there, they call them wood boogers.
These
Yep.
people can't be trusted. No.
That's where the North got the name Boogeyman.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If
From-
someone
I
was
didn't
like,
know
have you
that.
seen the wood boogers? I would tell them to get out of my house.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. That is ridiculous.
But it's a different way of life.
Wood
And they're
boogers.
very charming. I love Kentucky. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah.
We love Kentucky. We love
Yeah,
the people there.
love it.
They're very hospitality oriented.
We love
They'll do
Kentucky
anything
bourbon.
for you. We love Kentucky bourbon.
Doesn't.
We love the grits. We love the bourbon ale. We love everything down there.
The
And,
moonshine.
and everybody is honey and sweetie, and you know they would do
Yeah.
anything for you. But
Do you guys think that the abominable snowman and Bigfoot are alike? Kind
Yeah.
of like a polar bear and a
Yeti.
black bear?
I think they're the same thing.
Yeti.
Yeah.
They're just white.
But we've had people say that they've seen white ones before. So,
And-
Yeah,
oh,
actually, there's the one up north by Reamer. You know, the well documented that he's got a big white spot on his back.
Oh, I've heard about him.
And
Yes.
actually, my ex-husband one time was driving close to there, and he looked and he saw something. Remember, every time we go by there now, we're always looking.
thought it was
Oh.
a bear. And he goes, "What's that bear doing?" And then he turned around and it stood up.
Yeah, and,
Holy crap.
and he described, and I had never told him when we had heard about the individual up there that people
Right.
have seen, and he said, yeah, and he had this big patch of white on his back, and he was before that, and I didn't believe in Sasquatch until he saw this, and now he's a total believer. And then when I told him, oh, that's like the one that they saw, you
Yep.
know, back, you
We
know,
had
up
several
by-
other
up
people
by
say
Bia.
that that's what they saw too. That had that spot on the back.
Do you think they walk sometimes on all fours to if they need to like quickly disguise themselves, or
I don't know. Maybe their arms are pretty long.
Yeah.
I think
Someone-
they crawl.
Yeah,
I think
do.
they.
with the,
they
just
crawl
like
and
the
long
great apes.
bodies. Yeah,
Yeah.
on their knuckles and stuff.
Not
Well,
necessarily on
I
the
was telling
knuckles,
Jessica that
Yeah.
but They can crawl.
don't look annoyed with me. Don't.
I did. That's just the way my face looks.
That's a resting bitchy face.
That's me.
But you know, the Misty Mountains and stuff. Gorillas were a mythical creature like
Yeah.
150 years ago until someone
Yep.
went up there and shot it.
Yeah.
And drug it back to America and showed everyone, and now we have them in zoos.
Yes.
Like so, I mean,
Sad.
the locals knew who they were. They
Yeah.
knew what they were, and they left them alone.
Yeah.
But you know, everyone talks about like all these crazy things. gorillas were a mythical creature 100 years ago. So think about that. So maybe one day, I hope no one ever shoots one. That would make me so sad.
Somebody's gonna, because they're human and they're stupid.
Yeah.
So sad. It'll probably be in the gas station at Reamer. Someone will pay for it to get stuffed. And they'll put it there. And they'll sell a T-shirt with it
I
on
hope
it.
not. But well, and one of the other reasons that we are a team of women is that the best primate researchers have been women. It's Diane Fossey, it's Jane Goodall, it's Barut. I mean, they've all been top of the line, much better than the men.
Yeah, women are in general better than men.
Well, yeah, that's true.
100%.
Yeah,
Firm believer of that.
exactly.
So, and you guys travel around and teach other people and talk about it, and you guys do your storytelling and everything like that. It's so
Absolutely,
neat.
absolutely.
You guys love it. You don't
We do.
fight over it. Who gets to marry him?
Who gets to marry him? Yeah, no thanks.
Dad would like to marry him, but I might question that if it ever happened.
No.
I will officiate that wedding. Call me. So, do you have any advice to anyone who wants to go out and start doing this? What would you
Go out in the woods. Don't
Yeah.
go alone. But
Don't go
out.
alone.
Yeah.
Just go out in the woods. That's
Go have fun.
Yeah.
just unplug and go experience things?
Yes.
Yeah.
And look for things that are abnormal. Right? You're not going to know what's abnormal until you're out in the woods a lot,
Right.
and you
Yeah.
Yes.
learn the woods and what's out there and what's natural and what's not.
Right.
That's why we know those stick structures were something that wasn't
There,
done by environment, like breaking.
Because
and falling.
I believe there is a picture of a hunter's blind that they made out of sticks on our website as well.
Yeah.
Which is way different than any of the
Yes.
structures. Yeah.
So go out in the woods, Jessica. We're going out in the woods. Do you think that we should do that? Because we're going to do part 1, part 2, and I thought part 3 we should just go out in the woods one day.
I mean, we can.
It's going to be Jessica like,
Stop whining, Amanda. That was just a tree. It's fine.
my scared ass screaming the whole time. So 100% no doubt in your heart, Bigfoot exists.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Jessica, do you think that he exists?
Sure, yeah, why not?
Why not? Yeah. I mean, nobody knows everything.
Right.
That's right. Nobody
can't-
knows
Even
everything.
though my daughter, she's 20, she thinks she knows everything. And she questions, she goes, Mom, really? I said, honey, trust me, I know. I haven't seen him, but I know he's out there. And her boyfriend's dad said, Shelby, he's talked about the bears, because you don't find bear carcasses and stuff. So we know that they are,
That's right.
alive and stuff. We know they're out there. And she's like, oh, she kind of was like being a little kid, but.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm like, honey, I haven't seen them, but I know all the things we found, all the things, the stories that we get are unbelievable.
Well, it's funny that all across the world, everyone seems to have the same
Yeah.
stories. And without, prior to internet and being able to communicate
Right.
across the world, everyone has the same stories, like Loch Ness Monster, things like that. And dragons.
Dragons.
We're
We want
starting,
them to be.
we're starting a dragon researching.
Yeah.
Do you guys have critics in your life then? Or people that think you're...
Oh, my father doesn't believe it all.
Really?
I can give him a book to read about it, and he won't even do research. Like, how can you say no when you won't even look into it to
Right.
say yes?
Right.
I mean, okay, so you say no, door closed, bam. All right, you're closed after that, and a whole lot of other stuff, but okay. I'm gonna go out and have fun now. I'm gonna go do some stuff and get my ass off the couch.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Who's your worst critic?
I don't know, because my family, we all have the ability, right? We all
Okay.
see ghosts.
You're very into it.
my two siblings don't want anything to do with it. They have it, but they've covered it up, right? So they're happy to listen to my stories, but they don't want anything to do with it. But yeah, I don't know. Some people, like at work, for example, once they find out what I'm doing, they're like, oh.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you?
Yeah,
But because we
nuts.
have
Whatever.
exactly.
I don't
But you
care.
know what? We've been in this field for so long that it's like most of the peeps that we hang out with are paranormal peeps, right? So it's like it's all believed.
I haven't met your daughter, but I know she exists.
Right. Exactly. And like some people say ghosts don't exist either. Oh, come on, I see them quite
Oh,
often.
I 100%.
Absolutely.
In my house, it will-
Absolutely.
Absolutely awful. Yeah. It's but you have to have that experience before. I mean, some people just.
Yeah.
But I think you close yourself off and you like deprive yourself from even just having an imagination too. Like, isn't it nice just to hear about Mothman?
Yes.
Like, it's exciting. It's interesting. It expands your mind.
Yes.
It's fun. Thank
It is
you.
fun.
It's
If
fun.
it wasn't fun, believe me, if it wasn't fun, we wouldn't do it.
Right.
And if people want to lie about it and tell you stories, they gotta live with themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I can pick and choose to hold on to what I want to believe and what I don't. You know, if they say something that, it's possible, but it's a lie, it's still possible.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Anything is possible. I want to go find him now. We're gonna go.
You can come to my house.
Oh yeah, she has 10 acres right there. Oh, and it's a swamp. You have a swamp.
Perfect. We'll go find some stick shelters.
Well, my son goes out there all the time to go. My son loves Bigfoot.
He always comes to our house.
He was
to go
with
hunt
me.
for Bigfoot.
Yes, he gets a stick, and then you just watch him. He just goes.
Wanders around the
Bye,
backyard.
honey. He probably would be the one that would see him too,
Right.
because it's just an innocent child.
Well,
just
TJ
walking
took
around.
him. My husband took him on a 4-wheeler ride, and he was pretty convinced he saw something.
Oh really? I haven't heard this.
I find that hard to believe.
TJ saw something?
No, Hunter did.
Oh, my child's. He could be telling the truth. I don't know.
You know, we met some young children down in Kentucky that were amazing. That we were at CryptidCon last year, and they came to our booth, and these kids were like telling us what to look for. They were like 8 years old.
Yeah, they knew
And we put their
everything
picture. We put their
They
picture
grew
on
up with
Facebook,
them.
and
In the
because their
backyard.
dads had them out in the woods and told them, and they said, you know, they do this and blah blah blah. And I said, wow, too bad you're not in Minnesota. We'd have you come out with us. You know.
Well, yeah, an innocent child is probably way more in tune with all that stuff and more likely to be approached or something like that.
Exactly.
Here, talk to the kid.
I'm game to talk to
That's
any
what we'll do.
kid.
We'll mic
That's
up
right, me
Hunter.
Just
We'll
send
mic
him
up
into
my
the woods.
5-year-old and send him out in the woods. And you record an episode. Tell us what you see. It's the wonderment. People lose that when they grow up.
Yeah, they do.
It's sad. Well, I think you guys are really cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
We are fun.
We are fun. Yeah, no doubt.
And I hope you guys are the first ones to find him. So
I do too.
get your
I hope so,
selfie,
too.
get your man, get your knife.
I gotta stay away from knives.
I saw that. I was
This
gonna
just
ask you.
healed from last week, and then I did this morning. It's like, what the hell's wrong with me?
Katie seems like she should have the knife.
I think Katie should have the knife too.
Well, I might be able to hold it, but I wouldn't know what to do with it. I'd be like, Cindy, what do I do now? She's like, well,
Now hand it to me carefully before I cut myself. Again.
He's the one that, so we were up in the woods, and I got stuck in the swamp because I'm dumb and I couldn't get my leg out.
Oh God.
And it was the funniest thing ever. So this one comes around the corner because I couldn't wait to get to this lake. Man, we had been walking and trekking for miles. Finally, we got sight of the lake, and I'm like, I'm gonna get there first. And then it was a bog, right? And I didn't realize. And so I was up over my knee in this, and I couldn't get my leg out. And then you come.
Stuck, and I'm yelling at her.
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing out there? It's a damn log, can't you tell it? What the hell are you doing? Get your boot out of there. I'm trudging there, and I'm finding these planks, planks other past people have used at some point, and trying to get to her and trying to pull her boot out, and her boot's not gonna come. And I'm like, I'm not carrying your ass back because you don't have a boot to wear.
oh yeah. I was like, if I try to go help, I'm gonna be stuck too. So I'm like, I'm staying right here. I'm glad Cindy's over there.
So I'm up to my elbows in muck, trying to pulling that boot out. She gets her foot out, and she's standing on one of these things and leaning on me, and I'm yanking this boot out and cussing out the storm, going, God damn, this boot's coming out because you're not riding on my back on the way out. I'm not hiking you out of here for miles and miles. We got it out.
Yeah.
And then what did I say? Oh, come on, let's go
Yeah,
over there
she
to
wanted
the
to go
lake.
farther.
And then
Like-
the next thing out of your mouth, we're not going to the damn lake stuff.
Well, it's good. You're smart to stay back because someone has to tell the story.
Yeah, that's true. I was like,
here's
I don't
what
know what to do.
And then I left them there.
Pretty much. It's time to go.
Oh man,
Good times.
No, that's great. You guys have this close group friend thing, and at least you guys get off your ass and go do shit. So.
We all serve a purpose. We all bring something to the table.
That's right. That's right.
She's the one that usually falls and gets hurt.
That's your.
I feel like you probably like the feeling I get is that you feel something and you don't probably
Yes.
think first,
Right.
And you just instantly start running towards something,
Exactly right.
and you're
yeah.
like throw all your inhibitions
Yes.
to the wind and just go.
Yes.
She probably walks super
Fearless.
fast too, doesn't she? She's just like
She can.
out of here.
I'm going, man. I'm not waiting.
Well, be really careful. What'll be great though is if one time you're just running ahead and then you just get sucked right up.
Oh,
And then she's like, nope, not going there. Not do that. I'm like, great.
my.
I bet you it's hilarious out there.
We do
can
have
be.
fun.
Yeah,
We do
I
have
can
fun.
imagine.
We do have fun. And some researchers say you have to be quiet, but no, that's not us. We want to be, we think they're probably be attracted to us because we're giggling and laughing and being
Yeah.
crazy.
They're
Do you ever-
having fun. Let's go hang out with them.
That's right.
Well, thank you guys so much. It was so
Yeah,
nice
thank
talking
you. It was
with
very
you.
fun. Thanks for having us.
I'm gonna pop in at Bigfoot Days and get an update.
Yes.
Yes,
See what you guys
please
have
do.
found. Do you guys go? So your website is SquatchHERS.com.
Yep. Double H.
Double H. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I hope you find them.
Yeah.
Have fun sleeping in the cemetery tonight. That sounds-
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna sleep in the cemetery.
Oh, you're going to one. Sorry.
I'm gonna go check it out.
You're gonna check it out. You guys should go to that one in Reamer.
Maybe they'll plant a new one tonight.
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, doesn't that scare you?
See, we're gonna make she's not a paranormal investigator, but we're gonna make her into one soon. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, I want to hear that process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another time. I mean.
Another time.
Yeah.
I'll have you back to talk about that.
Paranormal's a whole nother ball game, but
That's yeah, I could talk all day. So thanks guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.